You mentioned assessments, that you use assessments.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about which ones and how
Sure.
you do it?
Yep. I use, again, depending upon the client, what we're coaching toward, I pretty much always use some kind of strength assessment, whether it's the VIA,
Yeah.
Values in Action from Authentic Happiness, or the Strengths Finders assessment, the 2.0 assessment out of that book. I use sometimes the Approaches to Happiness,
Yeah.
which is also on the Authentic Happiness site. And then sometimes I use the Optimism
Yeah.
test as well. And that's what I did my capstone in, was on optimism, so I'm always very curious about that. And depending upon, and I might not do that up front, I might not do that until 2 or 3 sessions in if I start to see that optimism might be something that's holding him or her back.
Yeah.
And then that gives you a framework to talk about it, not just
Right.
the glass is half full or the glass is half
No,
empty.
no. And
So that
and
one-
so do they bring it back to you or send it to you or what happens?
Yeah, typically, like for the strengths or the VIA, actually with the VIA now, I use the consultant version. Are you familiar with that? Where I can purchase a consultant code.
Yeah.
I again, send them this instructions electronically. That report gets sent to me, it's a PDF.
Yeah.
That gets sent to me. I then send it to them in anticipation of a call where I'll say, okay, take a look at this. You tell me when you want to discuss the results. Because again, they set the agenda, that's really important for these calls. So they might have something really pressing, this board meeting or this big thing that's happening in their company. If that takes precedence over a discussion of their strengths, well, guess where I'm going to go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're in control. They're setting the agenda. So we'll discuss that generally within the first month. I mean, generally,
Right.
but they decide. But it's all done electronically.
So you don't change the assessments or you don't change the
Not the assessments.
exercises or
No, not the assessments at all. The only thing I've done is I now use that consultant code for the VIA because I really like how the data is presented in that report versus the generic one that you get online. That's just your 34 strengths.
Yeah.
But that's I like how that's presented, and I think it's presented in a way that business people can understand.
Yeah.
And it's got the model in the back, with the 4 quadrants, and so it makes for a good discussion.